Now, what we have heard most recently, because things have changed, my intel has changed, but what we are hearing is that we are going to have an amazing weekend. The most recent information is that all the releases would be on Saturday, so I'm looking at our day to get notified, on Saturday. So the main thing is, half of this battle is getting the numbers, setting our appointments, and then it's a done deal. We're able to move forward with our exchanges as soon as we can. We're hearing we're going to have a super fantastic weekend. If anybody lives in Idaho, you may want to consider this place. Idaho Central Credit Union, IQ, they have 60 branches and they have some also in the eastern part of the state of Washington. They charge you $10 to exchange, from $1 to whatever, they exchange foreign currency. There's still some people out there that just don't want Iraq to move forward because the status quo, the way it's going, they're making nothing but money by stealing money by the government. Baghdad chosen as the Arab tourism capital for 2025. Quote, the Iraqi Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced, the Arab Tourism Organization has chosen Baghdad as the capital of Arab tourism for the year 2025. Iraq is the second Arab country and the 9th in the world in terms of natural resources. With our contacts with private banks in and outside of Iraq, they're all telling us they are extremely busy. They're all telling us that they're getting ready for you. Why will Iraq become one of Trump's priorities in the coming period? Trump wants to work with Iraq to support stability and security. What do you guys think the reason is Trump wants Iraq safe and secure? Lol, could it be a revaluation? There's no redemption centers. None whatsoever. No one can prove to you they're a redemption center. Why will Iraq become one of Trump's priorities in the coming period? Urgent quote, Trump is planning major changes in the Middle East region, and therefore the region is entering a new phase, and Iraq will be at the forefront of these changes in terms of the security and economic reality. December 15th, I believe remittance auctions will cease, that may be the last you see of the dollar auctions. They're pushing towards getting rid of the illegal market smuggling. Article quote, advisor to the Prime Minister Saleh confirmed again, that tightening the control over suspicious financial transfers reduces manipulation of the exchange rate, and the stability of the national currency. Cessation of these auctions of the dollar and the illegal trade, it's going to do wonders. That's their focus and they're not deviating. Parliament is so angry right now because they don't have the ability to steal like they used to. It's called profiteering. If the politicians cannot profiteer anymore off the currency, off of the exchange rate through the CBI, through the auctions, what are they going to do? Only two options, get lost or get along. The majority have decided to get along, but they have lost some. They're just stubborn people. Politicians that realize they have no more power in Parliament are leaving, by Sadr. They told us 2 weeks ago that the banking reforms were 95% complete and they expected it to be done within the next 2 weeks. So this may be an exciting weekend. As we get closer to the end of the currency auctions and switch over to the new international system at the end of the year, we read multiple articles on this subject matter. According to my CBI source, this is all part of a news campaign to inform the citizens to justify these very near-at-hand changes to the currency auction system. We can clearly see there are crooked politicians that do not want this change in the currency auctions to occur, but for Iraq it is time to shake the shackles of the sanctions, which by the way, have been over since December 2022. To progress further, we know that Iraq must change over their currency, and when they do it, part of the process is the revaluation. Question: have you heard how long we will have to exchange? We have heard from our boots on the ground Firefly, and our people there that it looks like it's going to be 10 years for you to exchange your currency back. While Syria is witnessing major transformations that the whole world is waiting for, these transformations have opened the door to hopes for economic transformations as well, after the Syrian economy deteriorated greatly during the previous years under the rule of Bashar al-Assad due to sanctions. The Syrian pound has undergone major transformations. At the beginning of 2021, it was $. It is equivalent to 3,000 Syrian pounds, and in 2022 the price increased $to 4,000 liras, then it reached 8,000 liras in 2023 and even 13,000 liras in mid-2023, and with the continuation of economic sanctions and the collapse of many sectors, it rose $. At the beginning of 2024, it reached 15,000 liras. Then with the start of the battles by the armed factions at the end of November and the successive fall of Syrian cities by their hands, the collapse reached 19,000 liras per dollar. Then after the fall of the regime, it reached 22,000 liras per dollar. But with the start of reassurances about the situation and monitoring the possibility of involvement countries global with the help of Syria to establish nation new, the price of the lira returned to 16,000 liras per dollar, with expectations that the lira will improve against dollar with the formation of a new government and a new regime engaged with the regime global. From here, it seems that there are many investors, whether in Syria or even in countries the surrounding Arab countries, especially Iraq, have tried to invest in the Syrian pound, by purchasing large quantities of it. Now while it is collapsing, where 16,000 liras can be bought for every dollar, and waiting for its prices to rise with the improvement of the situation in Syria. For example, if about 1.6 million liras are bought for only $100, then the return of the lira price to its price in 2021 only, for example, which is 3,000 liras per dollar, then selling the 1.6 million liras will be at a price of more than $500, which means a profit margin of 400%. But specialists in the currency market in Iraq warned against buying the Syrian lira and rushing to it, as the specialists said that Syria is a country without oil or exports and its situation is unclear, so do not let greed lead you and enter into investment in the lira, while they compared it to Turkey, which is a tourist and industrial country and an exporter to many countries in the world, and their currency is collapsing. A report by BNN Bloomberg revealed on Saturday that the unannounced visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Baghdad was a surprise stop during his tour of the region, during which he asked Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani to prevent the use of Iraqi territory to transport weapons to Syria. The report, translated by Al-Maluma Agency, quoted an American official traveling with the minister who preferred not to reveal his identity, saying that the U.S. Secretary of State made the request preventively to al-Sudani, even though Tehran is not currently passing weapons through Iraq, according to him, while Blinken's surprise visit to Baghdad came after his visit to Turkey, and his meeting with Turkish President Erdogan. The U.S. official added that Blinken stressed that Syria is still in a fragile state and that Washington wants Iraq to prevent any weapons from entering, as they could be used by resistance factions or further destabilize neighboring countries, adding, Blinken also asked al-Sudani to take strict measures against resistance factions in Iraq, which have sometimes attacked U.S. forces stationed in the country.